welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me today for Friday Sews. I mentioned last week, if you were here, that I was very close to finishing a pair of trousers. They are the Victor woven pants from Stokx and I have finished them. So I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see here. If not, I'll put some closer footage. So they are a kind of barrel leg, and that was the reason why I wanted to make them, or I wanted to try them out. So I did do a toile first to see how I got on with the shape. I've been seeing quite a few things online and reading articles that the kind of barrel leg or the carrot leg was this season's new trousers shape, and yeah, I kind of looked at it and thought, I think that could be quite me. They tend to be quite high-waisted, and yeah, they've got this slightly almost like a banana, you know, roomy but tapering in towards the ankle, and what am I trying to say? Cropped, that's the word. Cropped length, and then quite often, and in the case of this one, they have a dart here that creates that shape. I made chinos last spring, summer. They tend to be a kind of style of trouser that I wear a lot at this time of year. As I said last week, I don't fit into those anymore. And I could have made another pair, but those chinos I made last year, which are the Chi-Town chinos, they're great, but they're a mid-rise, and I do tend to prefer a high-rise, and I found myself not reaching for them all that much because of the mid-rise. I just like the tummy to be all encased. Thought I'd see how I got on with a new trouser shape, and so I was very good, and I did do a toile. So did the toile, I think, fairly sure I made a size 16. Stokx generally fit me pretty much out of the packet, but obviously with trousers or pants, you need to be a little bit more careful. But yeah, they weren't too bad. I did get some wrinkles under the cheeks of my bottom, which seems to be something that I get quite a lot with me-mades and with ready-to-wear. And I was kind of on a bit of a hunt last year to find out how to resolve that. And I'd come across a really good video from, I've forgotten her name, but the lady from Melilot Patterns. She's got, I'll link it below, she's got a great video on fitting for jeans. And she made a suggestion in there that when you've got those wrinkles under your cheeks, that you take the hip line at the back and you pinch out any excess. You pin it out and taper it down to the side seam, so it's to nothing at the side seam. And I did that, pinched out about 1 centimetre either side of my pin, and it worked a treat because, yeah, these definitely, now that I've made up the real thing, I'm not getting any wrinkles under there, so I'm happy with that. It's not a shape I've worn before, but I think for this time of year, as I say, I do like cropped trousers as a kind of casual shape to wear. I'm quite happy with them. I have noticed that quite a lot of people online wearing them, the ones that are all claiming it's this year's new shape, seem to be wearing them with heels. But yeah, it's going to be trainers or sandals or whatever. So yeah, I thought I really liked the toile and I'd go for it. So I had this fabric already in my stash, which is from Fabworks. I bought it last year. It's a brushed twill or a drill, and off I went with my Stokx instructions. And if you've seen any of my videos before, you know I really do like Stokx. I quite often, you know, people don't like their instructions because they're very brief and they don't hold your hand through the process, but I usually find there's enough information in there, certainly for somebody that's got a little bit of experience. Yeah, they're good enough for me normally. This time I found them a bit difficult. Some of it was user error. I did do a lot of unpicking because I stupidly put the yoke on the wrong way round, which I hadn't realised until I'd overlocked it and top stitched it, so that was a real pain to unpick. But it's got this inset pocket, which isn't really necessarily a detail I was looking for. It just happened to be that that was how this particular shape trouser is. The other trousers that Stokx have that have got that same shape are the, I think they might be called the barb pants, and I very nearly did those, but they have got an elasticated waist. The last thing I need is any extra bulk around here, so I didn't want to do something with an elasticated waist. So yeah, this detail here was a bit of a pain, to be honest. I have managed to get another one of those little side seam labels in the side there, which I think looks pretty good. And this isn't a pocket that's put on top, it's part of the construction. So Stokx suggests when you put this section together that you do it in one continuous round, you know, pivoting, needle in, pivot, and off you go again. And I just, even with clipping into the corners, I just could not get it to work. So I ended up doing it in 3 stages. You know, I did one seam, clipped it, took it out, folded it over, then I did the next one, and so on. That eventually worked. I would make these again, and I do like the, well, let's see, I'm going to wear them a bit and see how I get on, but at first glance I like the shape of them. For mooching around, you know, this time of year, I would basically pretty much ignore their instructions. The instructions for doing the fly was so painful. I would just go online and look at instructions for something else, look at a YouTube video or instructions for something else with a fly, like ginger jeans that I've made or something like that. I also realised that I've got my fly on the wrong way round. I actually went to my wardrobe, dug out my jeans, looked at them, went, oh no, it's exactly the same way as my jeans, and then I've realised that no, my ginger jeans are also the wrong way round. So anyway, doesn't really matter who's looking at your fly. I have got some lines at the front here, which is probably because of the tummy. And if I wanted to, I guess I could fiddle around, and I find if I do that, I'm not sure. I could fiddle around and try and get that better, but with the amount of unpicking I had with this, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And to be honest, I think with trousers, because you don't tend to stand still, do you? You're walking around, you've got folds and things anyway. I'm really not overly worried about it. So as a pattern, yeah, I would take the pattern but ignore the instructions. As a shape, I quite like it. I'm going to try it with, I've got these heels here, hold on. Yeah. I don't know, as I'm always saying, I won't be able to tell till I see this back whether I'd wear them with heels. I don't know, I'm certainly not going to wear them with kind of stiletto shoes. That would be really weird for me anyway. So, promised I'd show them to you, and yeah, they were done pretty much by last weekend. And the other thing I mentioned last week was that I'd bought some patterns from Fibremood, and I'd sent them off to be printed, and one of them was this blouse pattern, the Aila blouse pattern. So I made one of those this week. I was a little bit in 2 minds about whether I should, because this pattern, this shirt that I'm wearing here, is a Melilot shirt, and I've probably made, I don't know, 4 of them, maybe a little bit more, with different, you know, because there's a long sleeve and a short sleeve, and I really like this pattern, and I was kind of a little bit, do I need another short sleeve shirt, button-up shirt pattern? Because actually I do really like this one. I like the shape it gives, I like the sleeve length, but I was keen to try a Fibremood pattern, and I thought I'd got some fabric specially saved to make another short sleeve shirt for spring summer, and I decided to ignore my instincts and go ahead and make it. And I think that was a mistake. So it's a dolman, it's an all-in-one. It's got a yoke at the back and some gathers at the back, which are really nice. It's supposed to be sort of oversized and can be worn sort of open jacket style or, yeah, done up. But I was a bit concerned, even by looking at the pictures, that the sleeves could be a bit too sort of sticky outy, and sure enough, that is what I don't like about it. So I'm a bit miffed, because this fabric, I have wanted to make something out of this fabric for a very long time. It's the Lady McElroy Cobra Corsage. I know it's been very popular in the sewing community. I haven't seen so many people use this colourway with it. A lot of people have done the one that's black. I think there's a lemon and a turquoise. There's all sorts of different versions of it. But yeah, it's a bit pricey, and I had ordered some from Minerva. I bought this from Minerva. They were doing a 20% discount if you're members, is it called the Minerva Club or whatever? You pay, I don't know, 20 quid a year or something, and you get discounts and sale things and all the rest of it. Anyway, so when they were doing 20%, I grabbed some of this and originally ordered enough to make a Melilot. So I will put it on in a minute and show you the sleeves. But I did think it was fair to talk about the things I do like about it. And I did find the instructions to be good, gave you all the measurements and everything you need. They talked about cutting lines for shortening and lengthening, both in the body and in the sleeve. And I was a little bit confused because that was good, because I thought it was a bit cropped for me, so I wanted to add a little bit of length on. I think I added about 10 centimetres. And I thought it was good that it also talked about shortening or lengthening the sleeve as well, because that was something I was a little bit nervous about. So I thought that was really good information. What was confusing though is that actually on the pattern pieces there are no lines for shortening and or lengthening, no cutting line. There's a diagram on the instructions but not on the actual pattern pieces, so I thought that was a bit strange. Anyway, did find the instructions to be really good. I unfortunately didn't read the information that came with the PDF properly, and I sent off the file that was marked AO to be printed out, and that's a bit confusing because it not only it does include seam allowance, which is good, but it includes the cutting line and the stitching line, and unfortunately I didn't ask Fabuloso to just print out my size, so I ended up with a multi-sized pattern with loads of lines on because of the stitching and cutting lines. So don't make that mistake. If you're going to do a Fibremood pattern and you're sending it off to be printed, I would use the file that says AOSA, because that doesn't have the stitching line. And tell Fabuloso or whoever you're sending it to only do your size. Anyway, that was me not reading the instructions properly. A couple of nice little touches, like if they're referring to the left front, it has a little dot of colour that's different to the right front, which can be confusing, especially if you're doing the fly on a pair of trousers. So I found that to be really good. So they were great, but I'm just not happy with the finished thing. So I'll put it on and you can see well, maybe you don't agree, but hopefully you'll see what I mean. But, okay, so this is where I've got to with it, and I've already fiddled with the sleeves a bit. When I first made it, I just felt that the sleeves just stuck out too much. And yeah, I mean, that is partly my fault. It definitely shows the sleeves sticking out in all the pictures, so I can't really blame anybody other than myself for that. But the other thing that I don't like about it is that because of the nature of the sleeves, you've got this weird wodge of fabric here. And I found that can often happen with something that's a dolman shape. I don't know if I mentioned it when I was making those unwind tops recently, because that was one of the things I really like about that pattern, is that doesn't have that weird wedge. I've ended up taking about 5.5 centimetres off the length of the sleeve, and even when I did that, I still didn't like it. I just found that because the pattern piece is literally straight out like a T shape from the neck, that it just was, I just didn't like it. So what I did was I was actually wearing this Melilot shirt while I was making it, so I ended up comparing the two, and I noticed that the Melilot sloped down at the shoulder. So I put this on, made a mark of where my shoulder point was, and I actually have this now tapering down. I took about 2.5 centimetres off this outer edge, so it now tapers down here, and I think it looks better, but it's still not resolving this weird situation. So the only thing I can think of is to just completely eliminate the sleeve and make it sleeveless, and hopefully it'll lose some of that bulk. But I'm keen to know what was a bit harder to do now I've tapered it, so it would be more hard to do, I guess. Especially, I mean, I look like an American footballer now, don't I? It's just this weird wodge, and I kind of feel like it probably needed a dart but then maybe not because it's not supposed to be fitted. There you go. That was this week's sewing. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any brilliant suggestions, because sometimes you guys have such great ideas. I'm pretty pleased with my pattern matching at the front. I'm very impressed with myself. I like the little gathers at the back of the yoke. I'll do a close-up. I was squeezing this, as is my wont, squeezing this out of a limited amount of fabric. I didn't have enough fabric to do a full yoke, so I ended up doing 2 pieces and pattern matching in the middle. I don't think you'd really notice that that was 2 pieces sewn together in the centre back there. I do think that it would have been nicer if it was a double yoke and you know, put together using the burrito method, which I've done a video about. I'll put a thing. Last Sunday we had a brilliant guest come and join us on our Clubhouse chat on Sunday afternoon, which was Lindy from Stokx Patterns. Absolutely fascinating chatting with her about her process, and I think we all felt quite inspired to go and look at her patterns. She's got a really interesting take and some fabulous details. We were all very impressed with her cutting some of her pattern pieces on the bias at the back to allow for sway back and movement and comfort. So it was absolutely fascinating. She has very kindly offered to give me one of her patterns, which she has sent over, but I haven't had a chance to have a look at yet. So I will, and I'll show you that in time. But that was brilliant. And then this week, on Sunday, I'm going to be co-hosting with Gemma, the Hammy dressmaker, and we're going to be talking about Me Made May. I put a thing on Instagram yesterday saying, what should we have as our theme? And lovely Lynn said, Me Made May? Why didn't I think of that? Because obviously tomorrow is the 1st of May, and if you do any of these sewing challenges, this is the one that lots of people take part in. You can pledge to do whatever you like with your Me Made wardrobe. Some people choose to only wear Me Mades every day of the month and post a picture every day, and some people will just pledge to go through their pile of bits and pieces that need finishing off. You can do whatever you like, but it's a really good one. So we'll be on Clubhouse at 3:30 British Summer Time. It is still invite only, but there are lots more invites out there, and now if you have a club, which we do, there is a link you can click and it will automatically take you through. You don't need an invite. So I will put that link in the description box below, and I think that goes up to 100 people, so we should be okay. If you haven't subscribed, it really helps me if you do, or if you click the like button. All of that helps me kind of get noticed out there in YouTube, and I'll be back next week. So yeah, look after yourselves, and I will see you then. Okay, bye bye.